Sharon Van Etten, we've been going about this all wrong. Album review, let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning here tonight to chat about this latest from Miss Sharon Van Etten, New Jersey-based singer-songwriter. If I was to make a tier list of some of my favorite songwriters of all time, Sharon would definitely be in the S tier. She took off so many years ago with her album Because I Was in Love. A lot of people love this album, but my thoughts on her are a little conflicted after all these years. Listen, it's tender, it's emotional, it is incredibly beautiful, but for my liking from Sharon, it's a little one-dimensional at times, and I know, I get it, people adore this album. Honestly, if I haven't lost half my subscribers from that last thought, I do need to say that ever since, Sharon has just been on a tear. Epic is an absolute triumph. I mean, A Crime is still one of my favorite Sharon tracks of all time, and I feel like I'm gonna cry just thinking about half of the tracks on Tramp. My God, that album is incredible. By the time Are We There rolled around, Sharon had her style down to a T and started branching out instrumentally, trying some new things. We got that on tracks like Your Love Is Killing Me, or my all-time favorite Sharon Van Etten track, Tarifa. And despite doing all of this, she managed to pull out her most musically diverse and deeply personal album a few years ago with Remind Me Tomorrow. I loved the hell out of it. I still do. Which leads me to this new album, which she dropped, pretty sort of out of nowhere with no singles leading up to it or no knowledge of how it was going to sound. And I mean, if you've been a fan of Sharon for a long time, you know what you're getting here. And that's far from a bad thing. This album starts off with Darkness Fades. It is absolutely breathtaking. For anybody who hasn't been into the sort of musically diverse direction that Sharon's been going into on her last two albums, which there are some of you, this is Sharon going back to basics on this intro. And it's beautiful. It's just Sharon and her acoustic guitar. You know what you're getting. And once again, that's not a slight. This track is freaking beautiful. Things do pick up a little bit towards the end with some very lavish pianos, some more instrumentals, a very big atmosphere. It's very cinematic. A lot of this album is. Between that, Sharon's vocals, and some very tasteful strings, this is a really great start. Home to Me is a lot more dramatic and very epic sounding. I love the production here. God, it's so quiet at times. Pacing as well, my God, it really does a lot to complement Sharon's very somber vocals though. It's bluesy, it's just got this quiet intensity to it. It's what I show up for. Now, I do also know that there's a lot of people out there that don't like Sharon's more drawn out tracks, but I can tell you this is a great one. Then we have I'll Try, and my God, her smoky vocals on this track are intoxicating. Once again, this is a bluesy, incredibly personal track that does pick up a little bit. Once again, if you are into the more modern sounds of Sharon Van Etten, you might hate this. But between the synths and the drums, it gives this track a very bold, very epic sound to it. I'd even go as far as to say, I think it's my favorite track here. And also, we see Sharon taking some weird risks late in the album, but a lot of them actually go over pretty well, like Headspace. This is by far the heaviest track here, and I mean heavy. This track has a big, bulky atmosphere, some chilling synths, and just this really just heaviness to it. It's hypnotic, it's commanding, it's got a haunting atmosphere. This is a great sound for her, just as long as you're okay with her taking some risks. I hate to say it though, but this is not as consistent as her last few albums. Take for example Anything. This is just kind of alright. Trust me, it's just as passionate, it's just as heartfelt, it's just as telling. Hell, even some of the ideas instrumentally aren't that bad. But it's very middle of the road for Sharon. I feel like I've been here with her before. It just kind of goes in one ear and out the other, and I hate to say that. And Born, I have to draw the line here. This is the worst track here. Once again, it's super heartfelt. It's super emotional. My hat is off to that. But this is drawn out to so many extremes that it's like easily some of the most boring material I've heard from Sharon in a while. Like, I know that some of the longer, more drawn out tracks on Are We There and, Remind Me Tomorrow really raise some red flags for some of her longtime fans. I never really saw it that way, but hearing this kind of makes me get what they were getting at. The vocals, the instrumental here, nothing sticks with me. And Darkish, while very back to basic Sharon, is a little too soft for my liking. I feel like the atmosphere, the sunny atmosphere, and some of the sound effects that Sharon brings in on this track just do more harm than good. And trust me, it's super emotional. Once again, really, really, really emotional. But I would be lying if I just felt like this was very middle of the road. It's a little one-dimensional and even worse, cheesy. But overall, it's pretty solid. I don't mind most of this. Come Back, this is home for me, man. This is a tender, lush, warm ballad, and one of the best ones here at that. I love just how quiet this track gets. It just has such a desolate atmosphere, but it makes Sharon's vocals pop so much harder. So much so that when this track picks up for its chorus, things get wowing really quick. Not to mention this choir vocals that pop in besides Sharon at some points is just make this track a knockout. Then we have Mistakes. Some of these late album experiments really do pay off instrumentally. Once again, this is a real left hook from Sharon, but I think it just, I don't know, it makes things a little bit more interesting, especially because she backs it up with her great vocals and her signature storytelling. I mean, the bouncy atmosphere definitely caught me off guard because it gets pretty sunny at times, but I think Sharon knocks it out of the park. She sounds so refreshed, so triumphant. It just breaks up this album's finale very nicely. And Far Away, it's a great finale. It's so serene, very cinematic once again, and of course, it's incredibly personal. I mean, all of Sharon's music, you could just tell, just like comes straight from her heart. But then you hear a track like this, and it just really dives home, just really drives home the fact that this means everything to Sharon. But between this very airy atmosphere, the great production once again, it's really likable. Yeah, this album is kind of par for the course for Sharon. It's nothing wowing. It's not the next step in her musical career, which kind of let me down. And when this album gets bad, it gets genuinely, like, really bad, really fast, shockingly so, especially for somebody who has done this so well for so long. But overall, you know what you're getting from Sharon here. It's not mind-blowing, but it's a very solid singer-songwriter album, and I needed that right now. Feeling a decent 7 on this, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.